Hey, now we're live. We did it. We're a little late. Whoops. Sorry.
Hello.
Hope you guys are doing well. I hope things are lovely for all the humans that are joining us this evening. I'm just going to full screen this and bring up our show notes for today. How are you feeling, Amanda?
Good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Putting some rosemary on your feet there?
Yeah.
A lovely choice. A very lovely choice indeed. Why are you putting rosemary on your feet?
I don't know. I've just been attracted to it lately.
You
know?
Yes. I love putting rosemary on my feet. I often find it's like very nourishing after I put much stronger oils on. So I'll put like lemongrass. And it's very intense. And then I find the rosemary is like very supportive and nourishing after I like put on something way more aggressive.
It does have a mothering vibe.
It does, yes. Very, very feminine.
But
very
it's also kind of stimulating. It can be awakening.
Now let me check here. I was trying to finish my show notes here.
Okay.
My show notes haven't caught up on my other device.
I see.
That's why. But there were some things we wanted to talk about, so let's start with one of them. Let's start with Rebel News.
Right.
This is crazy.
PayPal has... I don't know. What have they done?
PayPal shut down Rebel News' account. So this is an account that moved millions of dollars through PayPal. Okay, Rebel News was functioning, not only paying employees and things like this through PayPal, but they had multiple charities set up, and they were also using it to manage the legal funds for Fight the Fines, because they've been running Fight the Fines to help people who are getting COVID tickets to take it to court and fight and defeat these fines. And from what I hear, the record was very good in terms of winning these cases. But so PayPal, without citing any breach of their actual rules and without signing a personal name or any way to get back to them or refute the process, they gave them nothing. PayPal sent them an email at like 9:30 p.m. on a Friday night and just left it. And then it's just done. They were just left in this horrible position where the part of their business that literally moved millions of dollars a year is suddenly unavailable. And so Rebel News has been, put in a really kind of a bonkers position here because they were relying on that not only for their journalism, but to just help people who are being fined like crazy. Yeah. Anyway, so we included the link to Rebel News into this story in the description of our video. I really, suggest people at least share the video, if not help them in other ways if you can. But man, they're the largest independent news source in Canada. Yeah, they're huge, and they've grown, quite a bit since this all began. Oh yeah, so internationally. They're, they're helping a lot of people. They're helping a lot of Canadians. Huge presence. Huge presence. But they've been attacked the whole time for it. For example, they were kicked out of protests in downtown Toronto, even though the law stated that the media, Well, then in Montreal too, they were like forcibly quarantined. In their hotel. They were trapped in their hotel in Montreal. It's very much like Chris Sky, right? It's very much like Chris Sky. Yeah. They push hard enough against the narrative that they're fully openly attacked. So, and to me, Rebel News, what they've received here is a very clear expression of the war that's going on. But this has nothing to do with the virus. PayPal dropping a client that is generating millions of dollars a year. Yeah. Like crazy transactions, right? Like this is PayPal ditching a high level client. Yeah. For political reasons. This is a platform open to the public using politics to destroy independent journalism in Canada. This is no small thing. It's no small thing. It's really quite... I know. Whoops, sorry. It's really... Is that too much for you? It's okay. Anyways, it's really you can move it if you want. Okay. It's shocking because it's so open now. here in Canada. Like, to me, there's been kind of a shift where they're like, nope, we do have this much control. We can openly do this. And no one here in Canada will stop us because the Prime Minister is in support of this level of corruption. So when the leader of the country lives at a certain level of corruption, then businesses like PayPal can operate like this and destroy independent journalism casually. With like very little mainstream coverage, well, no mainstream coverage, terrible. Very little media coverage, but yeah, brutal. So we highly encourage everyone to check out the link and support them, and generally just follow all their work. They're amazing. They're hiring really young, ambitious journalists and having them just really do awesome, authentic, good, solid journalism.
Stories that you wouldn't hear.
You wouldn't hear them. You wouldn't hear them without what they're doing.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah.
And also, we wanted to talk about the COVID changes in Toronto for children. The newly released restrictions. So they're trying to drive the I want to make sure. Yeah, I know. I feel you, Dale. I was just seeing his message. Yeah, I know. The dark side. That was like a score up on the board for them.
Yeah.
For real. PayPal. But PayPal is exposed. They're exposed now. Their true nature is exposed.
I know.
Now,
but on the flip side, I heard praise coming from some member of parliament in Australia, in Victoria, to Rebel News. Did you
wait, what were you saying?
That there was a member of parliament in Australia that was commending Rebel News. That was
pro Rebel News. It's funny because Dale was just saying that.
Oh, okay.
That Rebel News in Australia, he's saying something different. Has been kicked out of political interviews and has been denied access to questioning the politicians there.
Yeah, I know.
And so this is what you're talking about is the opposite, is a politician who has broken away and has actually said Rebel News is a good force here.
I did see that today. I don't recall her name though, but it was Yeah. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts.
So it's obvious they're doing good work. If they're not allowed to talk to politicians, if they're not allowed to question.
You take the most flack when you're over the target.
Trudeau has set people towards Rebel News before as well to threaten them and falsely threaten them.
So I believe Ezra Levant wrote a book about Justin Trudeau and had the RCMP, I believe, show up threatening and interrogating him about his book that's critical of Justin Trudeau.
I know, because it looked like
a Sopranos. That's like Communism 101. You dare question our leader? That's bad. That's brutal.
That's really bad.
But yeah, so these new changes for kids here, just so insane. So insane. Basically, what they've stated is that children can no longer have any form of in-person education at all. You cannot hire a private person. Private schools have to shut down. So this is reaching beyond the public school system that is the government-mandated schooling system.
Unless they're in your household.
Yeah, unless someone lives in your household. The only way a child can be educated right now is by a sibling or a parent or someone else that lives in their house.
Or a computer screen.
Well, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to force all childhood education here in Toronto onto screens. 100% of it. 100% of it. Okay? And they're saying that children cannot see each other, so children are not allowed access to other children physically. It's against the rules right now for children from different households to see each other as humans in the world. Now,
disturbing.
Yeah, it's very disturbing. It's very disturbing.
I don't know who's going to follow these rules.
That's what I was going to say, is that even with how unbelievably zombified so many people here are, unfortunately, I still think there's an amount of resistance in terms of
the children.
Well, because I just see kids playing at the park and I'm like, okay, well,
yeah.
I don't know. There's some parents here who are pushing through that. And we've met lots of parents who are openly living more freely in their minds and in their lifestyle. But then we've also met people that are sort of like partway and just sort of, making up their own rules as they go, which is actually what everyone is doing.
I know, and we see this playing out in relationships. We see these like strange ultimatums arising where it's like, if you get a little sick, does that, what do? Do you get tested? Do you separate from each other?
Yes.
People who work in high risk jobs are getting paranoid around their family members, and anyway. Yeah.
But you have to be caught in the narrative for that to be happening. And so, I don't know. So they're escalating here, but I'll say they're escalating here. I guess it's possible, I'll say, that they're escalating here because there's a resistance forming, like a real actual resistance, like police rising up. So a significant portion of Ontario police have spoken out against the lockdowns, against the demand that they stop people in the streets and stop people in their cars and interrogate them about why they're not in their homes, hiding from the virus. So we see some of these big changes, and so maybe it's not a surprise that they've gotten like more violent and more crazy with the lockdowns.
I think it's quite an amazing thing to see our neighbors in Quebec and the police and the way that they've been enforcing this for like a year. They've had SWAT level police responses. They've been so aggressive. Last weekend, a man was being choked in Montreal, like by a police officer. Like, it's so severe.
And so many people were around being like, "What are you doing? Stop!"
It's so severe. And like Toronto had a stint of arresting people at protests.
Well, and there was some abuse and some law breaking.
Yeah,
right. There was throwing Rebel News out. There was abusively arresting people.
There was elderly people.
There was elderly abuse.
Yeah. That was
bad,
for like
but it was
2
a
or
window.
3 months, I think.
Yeah, it was a window of time, and then suddenly they stopped doing that, and they started just riding bikes and horses next to the protests.
Yeah.
Someone gave a different order.
It.
Someone high up
something happened.
Shifted something.
But we know that generally the word is from other police officers that it's like about 50-50 as far as like those who are kind of following the rules or the made up rules, and those who are sticking to the, their oath and everything like that, which is, I guess, why I don't know if there are other police officers who have joined this lawsuit since, but there's at least, I think, 19 Ontario police officers now. I think 10 of them are active duty that are taking the government of Ontario to court, like, for all the regulations that go against the Constitution.
Yes, there's multiple cases active.
So I know that there were some police officers joining as well. So like, to me, this is happening in Ontario where we have police actually, rising up and coming together against the government. But then like in Quebec, it's like the cops are obviously all criminals because we have not heard of them. And
police
even last
in Quebec
week,
have been infiltrated by criminal elements. Yeah. I will say that firmly with full confidence that there's truth to it. That observing the behavior, in some ways, it's true. It's true. The idea then is that Toronto police are not as infiltrated by criminals, by actual willful criminals who are willing to. One example you talked about today was someone being allowed to walk their dog, but the same person who was walking to temple for worship was ticketed. Yeah. And how these arbitrary, insane rules are applied, but upheld often, unfortunately, I think, by some people who are actual criminals.
Yeah. You have to be choking someone in the streets like that.
Yeah.
No.
There's something really sick occurring. So so it's tough when you have law changes, or not law changes, like COVID rule changes. Let's not give it the power of the law, really, because it doesn't have it.
It's not.
But when you talk about things like the changes they made today, where it's like no in-person education for children, right? It's actually more dangerous that there's not enough people to enforce that because then it turns into that vague, self-enforcing, self-censoring thing, right? That's the chaos. Of course, they can't go to every household and prove that none of these families are hiring private educators. Obviously, they can't do that. Like, we live in a surveillance state. Don't get me wrong. There's a shit ton of surveillance here. It's over the top.
Yes, but the Toronto police
enforcement
have been very, like, different. I would say, compared to other places, have been very low. Like, even compared to what I've seen of Calgary and other places, like, it's been worse. Like,
yes, I've seen that as well.
You know, so it's not good, but I still think that we're a little bit more protected because some of them are woke. Like, some of them are like, what the fuck? No, this is wrong.
Yes.
I know this is wrong.
Yes.
So.
And that they'll take that to court. That they will take that to court.
Right.
Is what's amazing, right?
I know. And they'll
not
show
only
their
they're standing against it, but they'll go on record. Career Ontario police officers. It's career suicide. It is. Career Ontario police officers are willing to go on the record to challenge the provincial and federal government, I believe.
Oh, really? The federal government? Yeah.
I think so.
Okay. Wow.
But I might be wrong. Don't quote me on that. The point being that they're willing to challenge the government openly, publicly, and that beneath them is, a group of silent people who feel unable to reveal themselves, but who stand in support with these officers speaking out.
Yeah.
Now,
well, there's lots of people, like even we were talking about earlier, doctors and nurses and stuff who are silent, who they have to remain anonymous.
So I shared on my Instagram a screenshot of a text with an anonymous nurse here in Toronto. And so this nurse's claim is, that from within the hospital, she's not seeing what the media is saying.
Yeah.
She's not saying that. And I won't explicitly say what she stated because YouTube censored our last video, and I'm trying to be careful because this platform is communist. But the point being that I shared that, but that's been a slew of those have come out today. I had a friend send me some other direct confirmations that
just go
the stats in Toronto that they're reporting, and in Ontario that they're reporting, especially around the ICUs, there are staff speaking out against what the media is saying, and that's their right, and they should be allowed to speak, and they should be heard, and we know what's going on. I mean, I know we know what's going on, but again, for the sleepers, like,
it's so hard for people to grasp that the lie is this big.
The big lie.
It is very, very difficult. And like, if you're someone who believes that all what the news is saying, it's very painful. Like, it's the most painful it's ever been. We watch it and it's like, oh.
Well, there's that quote.
There's blatant lies. And it's just so bad that it's true. How could some people really grasp the magnitude of the lie?
There's a quote like that. That's, I don't know, Hitler or someone painful. Nazi that's about, like, the bigger the lie, right? The harder it becomes to challenge.
Yeah.
The more difficult it becomes. Like, it becomes more powerful because when the lie gets so big and is connected to so many areas of your life and therefore yourself, it becomes an immensity that's very difficult to face. And so actually making a lie that big is a warfare tactic because it works. It gets so big that people won't even entertain it. It's nuts.
Crazy.
All right, so let's see what else we got here. You were telling me about this national vacation being proposed by the New York Times.
Yeah, I saw an article by the New York Times. Someone wrote about, like, what if we just had like a 1 week long vacation where everything just stopped? Like, I mean, everything, like even, just 24-hour news would stop. They would all have to go on vacation. Buses, garbage. I don't understand.
Yeah, no garbage delivery, whatsoever, no public transit.
It was
Like, as if
Nothing
we
at
haven't.
all. No social media. Everything.
The New
blacks
York
out.
Times is psycho. Okay, let's just put this in context, though. Let's just put this in context. After a year of lockdowns where things were shut
Doesn't
down
make any
as a
sense.
prerogative,
I know.
you want to then, after people have been traumatized
Shut down
by
again.
shutdowns, you want to propose a mass shutdown but call it a vacation. You're psycho. You're psycho. The person who decided to put that article in the New York Times is psychotic.
I know.
That's a psycho thing. To say the thing we just
Very
traumatized
upsetting.
you with, let's wrap it up and call it something different and make you do it again?
We all need a week long of like literally even less of what we had before.
Less.
Like,
Shut it down harder. Do you know what
you
maybe
get
they're
all
doing?
your groceries and everything delivered to you at the beginning of the week, and then for one
Yeah,
week,
you can't grocery
have
shop.
Nothing.
That's the proposal. You can't grocery shop.
No
You can do
grocery
nothing.
shopping.
You can do nothing.
Everyone
Yes.
stays home. That's why it makes.
We
no
put the
sense.
link to
I
this
know.
insane story in the description as well, so please check it out. It's just like mind-boggling. But I wonder, as we're saying this, I wonder, does it represent their panic? Are they trying to figure out ways to propose lockdowns now that their virus narrative is failing in so many states in the US,
God.
right? The freedom is
I
coming back.
know.
Things are lifting.
Weird.
Those people are not going back, okay?
Yeah, it's
If
true.
anyone believes they will be forced back into any of this, you're so out of touch with reality.
That's insane.
Okay? It's only going in that direction.
I know, but what
Okay?
about here?
I don't know. I don't know.
We're in such a, like, honestly, so right now, the health minister of Ontario is saying they're supposed to lift these quarantine orders on May 20th, which is the worst quarantine we've ever had, not even comparable to the beginning. It's like
So
you can't even
extreme.
shop for non-essential items here.
So many, no, there's so many actual essential things you can't get, though.
I know, it's stupid.
It's illogical.
Underwear, clothing, apparently those are not essential, whatever. But they're already saying, it doesn't look good for May 20th. It doesn't look good
right.
that
they're
dropping
the fourth
these
wave
fucking restrictions. And yeah, the premier has been saying like threats about the fourth wave, and everyone's going, "What the fuck is that? Why are you talking about a fourth wave now? Aren't we just in the third wave?" And they're saying maybe the second wave was actually the third wave. And so now they're like coming out with all these fucking crazy, ridiculous articles where it's like the second wave was the beginning of the third wave, and it's mind numbing.
But a wave is made up of just cases. The waves aren't deaths.
It's not deaths.
Because the deaths aren't doing waves. When you look at the data, the deaths are still just going down. They're going down in all the data, in the CDC's own data. Okay, so when they talk about a wave, all they're talking about is cases. Cases are made up of PCR tests. Cases can have false positives. Cases can have asymptomatic positives, which is just a healthy human being. So waves, what is waves? Waves are nothing.
So
waves are nothing.
It's
waves
scary in some ways that it's just like this for a while. It's very problematic.
Look, if there was a way to scientifically justify masking all these children, let's say, if there was a way to scientifically justify social isolation of all these children, like what they just proposed today, that children can't see any human beings outside their household for the unforeseeable future, right? Because they can move the goalpost whenever they want, as they constantly set up. They constantly say, "We'll check back in 2 weeks."
The power,
right?
The power of these city doctors.
But that's what I mean. So let's say there was science or data for that, it would be everywhere. Okay? Yeah. It would be all over the news.
It's terrible.
There would be a constant barrage of science proving that children are safe being muzzled all the fucking time. But there isn't. There never was. There never was. I can't say that enough. I had an actual human being, possibly just a troll, but a human being nonetheless, actually fighting for masked children today on social media. A real human fighting me and my criticism against masks on children and the fact that it makes it hard for children to breathe.
Do you think this person has children? Not that matters. but
I mean, sure, yeah, it's quite possible they don't, and thus their massive insensitivity. You know, also though, it just could be a troll. It really could be a troll. Yeah, do these people exist that really, really badly want masked children so badly that they're online trying to fight for children to be masked?
Yeah,
I doubt that. I know there are parents who are complicit and who are into it, but I'm skeptical.
Yeah,
that that's fighting. A real thing. That's how someone's spending their time. I don't know.
I know. That's ridiculous.
So yeah, the national vacation being proposed by the New York Times, which is really just a lockdown with a new name. It's a lockdown with a new name. They're trying to rebrand. They're trying to rebrand lockdowns. That's what it is. New York Times is trying to rebrand lockdowns, and it's psychotic. It's really psychotic. Also wanted to note that a new report, and I know you were saying this has been like evidence to this has arisen before, but there's a new report showing that China emits more greenhouse gas than all developed countries combined.
Yeah.
There it is. There it is.
So.
Right there. But will they be punished according to the Paris Accord? Will they be held accountable by the Global Union of Climate Activists? Will Greta Thunberg punch Xi Jinping in the face? Will she ever even say anything about how China is the worst?
No.
No. No, Greta will not.
Yeah.
Greta won't speak out of hand.
No.
She will not. She will not. I want to check our notes one more time here because I think I had something else. Oh. Well, we also had some experiences today walking through the downtown, walking on Bloor Street.
Oh, right.
And just generally seeing, honestly, like the number of people that are double masked or double mask shielded, like walking by themselves in the open air. I will not allow this to be normal.
No.
I will not. It's as bizarre as it is. It will stay that way. It will be messed up and bizarre. Yes, no, it will not be normal.
A person alone.
No.
A person alone.
Lone human beings on bikes, on skateboards, on scooters, walking. So masked up, like so aggressively masked up.
Today I saw a woman just peel the mask off, take a sip of coffee, and put it back on.
Yes.
And you're just like...
Okay, so here's the context. She's walking with a friend. She was walking with a friend who also had a coffee, but her friend was a maskless. And she was unmasked. And that's right. She sip, mask back on. Because COVID is so foiled by just loose generic mask application. So COVID was going to get in right after that sip. Right after that sip, COVID was going to get in.
A little bit dangerous.
She did it. She did it. She sealed it up just in time and stopped COVID. She did it. It was really a heroic moment.
No, it's just social. It has to be.
It's so insane. It's so insane. It's very hard to walk around Toronto right now, I have to say.
It's difficult.
But it makes sense because of how political this whole thing really is.
Yeah.
And if you don't realize it's political, you're not paying attention.
Yeah.
But it's very obvious. And now I see the true impact of how left-wing Toronto is.
Yeah.
It's so obvious now where I'm walking around, I'm like, dang, for real. Everyone is so scarily masked.
We kind of knew that though. Like even
I knew Toronto was left wing, but I hadn't conceived of the extent to which the mind control had infiltrated the left wing here in Canada and what that could lead to. Like, I guess the way people could be controlled and what they could be led to do to children, for example. Mm-hmm. I was not prepared for that.
No.
And I'm a rabid conspiracy theorist. Rabid conspiracy
theorist. It just makes it clear that it's political. So it's like we know that Toronto's generally more like left wing. So here we are, the most locked down in North America.
Well, yeah, and so Dale's saying they're threatening the same thing. They're trying to stop international travel. Yes, Dale, they're trying to do that.
Australia's
I know,
good.
Australia, it's rough. It's rough there.
For a while, I thought it was worse than Canada, but I don't know.
Now we're in a little bit of a competition.
It's really,
especially with Quebec stepping up their tyrannical reign.
It's so infuriating. Sometimes
it's very,
you feel
very
trapped.
You do feel trapped, absolutely.
You know,
well, because I have business opportunities outside of Canada that I want to fulfill. Like I have opportunities to leave here and go do
but it's
good
even
things.
Just even if you don't, it's just that feeling of entrapment. So it's a totally scary thing, even if you had no plans on traveling. Just to be told that you can't.
Yes.
That's all. It's exactly. Just that.
It's true. Most of the time, if you look hard enough and fight hard enough, there's a legal way to do what you want to do.
Yeah.
And you just have to be willing to apply your willpower firmly and clearly enough. Know yourself, know the law, and bring that self-knowledge and that knowledge of law together. And so that's what we found last summer during the first lockdown. We traveled, we went, I had a business opportunity and we turned it into an opportunity to just travel. Like, why not? Because we needed to make the money because we had lost all our other jobs from lockdowns. So it was actually necessary for our family, which was the government stipulations. It had to be necessary. But we traveled. We experienced a vacation mid-lockdown and we saw through this whole thing.
Yes.
All obviously ridiculous and loose and vague and unscientific. Loose rules.
It's not, I know it's gotten more tough for people. Like you will get harassed a lot.
It's from like Amy's saying that they are starting using the term face covering more instead of mask, and it's true, and it really just sounds more like a religious garment. Like she's saying, like it really does sound more like something cultish, more like something non-scientific and ritualistic.
The cult aspect
but it's
is
like
very interesting.
Apply your face covering.
I know.
It's
just like even if it's like this on your face, you can still pass. It's like it's okay. If it's on your lip, they're like, yeah, you're okay. Just even if it's on your chin, there's like something. It's true. There's like the ritualistic part and the cult piece, which it's funny because people on the other side will think, you're in a cult.
You're in like a conspiracy
You're
theorist
in a
cult.
conspiracy cult, and they're like your cult mindset, and then you're looking at them going, but I think you're in a cult because you're in a cult. Obsessed with race.
You're in a cult.
You're obsessed with looking at people's skin color, and you're white supremacy is somehow the most biggest threat to America is white supremacy.
Okay. Oh, and I didn't put this in the show notes, but we watched that. Was it Louder with Crowder? Where did the CIA, the new CIA ad, the new ad for the CIA?
Right.
And it's like super left wing woke.
The trans,
the intersectional trans, mentally ill CIA officer.
Yeah.
Who's like boasting about having normalized anxiety and like all this like it's
like, it's so sad. I have normalized anxiety.
It's you just look it up. It's bizarre, and it shows the extent of the brainwashing. I mean, it's like wow, it's deep into America's institutions.
Yeah.
But it's the same with here. Kevin was just saying that he saw info on U of T being connected to the Gates Foundation.
Oh God.
And of course, in looking at what our universities have produced, like all the gender warfare stuff coming out of universities is really, really, really bad here.
And I'm hearing more people be like, gosh, I'm trying to have a conversation with this person who's like university educated, who is, maybe even a PhD.
Yeah.
And they're rigid in their thinking. They can't understand what I'm saying. They can't look at data. They can't, and this person is like, there are many people actually I've spoken with, and me myself. And it's like, how come I can construct like a series of questions looking at data and you can't?
Yes.
And you have spent so much money and getting your sort of PhD, bachelor's, whatever. And you
they're
can't,
lost.
and you're stuck and you're rigid and you can't think outside of what you've been taught. which is,
Yes.
race and gender and everything else.
There are people that are so educated that they've lost the ability to produce free thoughts.
Yeah.
That's really what we're looking at here. People that are so educated, they've been through the program so well that free thoughts are a rare thing coming from their minds.
I know.
But it's tough. So there's this whole interconnected web of sort of gender-based theory lies that are occurring in Canada right now, because not only did they start pumping it up in the media, but they got it into the universities to this extent. And so once the universities made it sort of like the high academic way and sort of were able to state it as truth, then they were able to start to introduce it into laws, and now suddenly it's in our legal system. And man, insane that it progressed and it actually got that far,
Yeah. Well, it's like, I don't know, the new Canadian, well, it's sort of new, at least we just discovered it. What's the website called?
Which one?
It's a website for kids.
Oh yeah. See, my app deleted
kids.
my app deleted my notes here. I'm sorry to say.
Well, it's a website.
It's in the show notes though, I think. So I think it's in the show notes, and it's basically it's a website for gender, for helping children with gender information, basically.
And so obviously the government has spent a lot of money on something like this, and I'm not saying it's not helping some kids at this point. But when you see it and you look through it, it is quite, there are unsettling pieces inside of it. Like, I can see some aspects to it where, of course, this is going to help children, but for the most part, it seems to me like they're pushing, again, another gender narrative, and this is backed by the government. So they have a unicorn that represents this sort of gender fluid character who will teach the kids all about sort of the human rights behind it and the gender. And do you have what's
the link? Geggy.ca.
Geggy or Genji? I don't know what it is.
We're gonna share it. We're gonna look at it right now.
Okay.
I'm gonna share a screen. Yeah, give us a second, guys. We're going to share our screen and show this to you guys. It is really, really cool. Oh, we can't do it now. It's not set up. Oh, shoot. Okay. Bummer. Anyways, the link is in the show notes. And so it's geggy.ca. And they get into basically like definitions of gender, all the vagueness. It's just a high-minded invitation into absolute
and
insane
they have
vagueness.
Sort of it framed for younger kids. So the thing with this one is that it's not necessarily just for teenagers. It's for kids, from what I was reading. And it didn't say this that I saw on the website, but on another source, for kids 4 years old and up.
Yeah.
So it's quite young, but I did notice that they do specify, like, here's how to say it in little kid terms. So what they call sparkly, and then what they call serious. And so it looks like for older kids, they could read it in serious terms. And then for younger kids, they've written it in a sparkly way so that they can understand all the gender terms and things that they're
I don't know if that's visible, but
you
basically
check it out for yourself. Really is the only way to get sort of your own gut feeling on something like this. But this is when it's coming from the government of Canada.
Well, that's my gut feeling. And it's a warfare.
Yeah, when it's coming from the government, it's backed by the government of Canada. They're putting at least millions of dollars behind something like this. Taxpayers' money, and
it's so much money. Like why are we paying for this? Why are we paying for these insane programs? Here's the sort of Hegelian dialectic, right? The problem solution cycle that they create. All this propaganda causes gender dysphoria in children. Then they say they're meeting the gender dysphoria needs of all these children, and they paint a picture like they're rescuing children from gender dysphoria that's been there all along. And now finally, thank God we have these programs, when it was the propaganda they put in place that unleashed this in the first place. Children are supposed to have a more ambiguous sense of gender. They're supposed to play with gender as they develop and figure that out. Understanding gender is not something that is supposed to be settled early on. It's a complex thing. To figure out how you relate to masculinity or femininity, all of us know this. That was a complex thing to discover. That took so much of my life
of course,
to really truly connect to the sense of masculinity and of being that. I mean, nowhere in my youth did that get nailed down. Okay, I was an adult when I started to really properly solidify these things for myself. I'm not a 4-year-old child.
And even as a woman, it's like there was so much that society was putting on you, and I know for boys and for girls it's different. But a lot of women are still reclaiming their womanness, even as 30 and 40-year-olds. So, like 4-year-olds, I don't think so.
Absolutely not.
I would not be
if they can't handle their own poo, like they can't choose their lifelong gender. These people are psycho. These people are totally psycho, but it's really deep into the system, It's really deep into the system. It's funny, Cosmic Sapphire here is saying that they had the non-essential buying phase there in Manitoba, and eventually it came back. I mean, you never know what they're going to give back to you, what they're going to take away. It's a whole vague game of psychological
Manitoba having that, though, before we did.
Yeah.
And that's really
so crazy.
Psychotic.
No, it's like we literally do need to get shoes for our kids. And our only choice is to kind of hope and maybe order them online or drive somewhere else that might let us. I mean, it's totally, totally crazy. It's totally really crazy. Disturbing. There's nothing to do with the virus. That's not saving anyone. Anyone who thinks stopping you from getting children's shoes, again, COVID, he was there and he was like, oh, I'm going to kill someone. Damn it, they didn't sell those kids' shoes.
I know, but this is the psychotic way of thinking that gives you, it's like, okay, if I don't have my mask on and I walk into a coffee shop and I order a coffee and leave, or if I walk in with a fucking mask on, take it off when I go outside and sip my coffee and drink it outside, where in that situation are you less dangerous than the person without the mask who's without the mask drinking the coffee? It's so crazy. It's so... You'd think the logic would be here, but I guess this part
logic has left the building.
It's so crazy.
At least where we live, it's bad. Here, what we're seeing is a lot of businesses that are so deep in the narrative that they're willing to sacrifice their business. We've seen businesses willingly dissolve, give themselves away
early on
to the narrative and just be like, we can no longer run this business. We choose to end it. Because it's too dangerous to even operate a business. But that's how gone. No, but this is that was the examples of that we've seen were full blown, hardcore, left wing victim mentality, social justice warrior, virtue signaling. It was that whole world. And we've seen people in that mentality in Toronto willingly sacrifice their businesses.
Yes. Because they feel like they can't put their employees in danger. And
it's brutal.
Yeah, the victim mentality in those situations.
To not fight for your business, your dream, but then to go even further and to just give it to a false narrative.
Because then you can be a victim for a long time after
I know,
that.
I guess that's true. Where it's I had to give up my business
I don't blame them. Because sometimes, what do you do with trauma? What do you do? Especially if you are someone who's been truly, truly victimized personally.
Mm-hmm.
When you get this level of victimization going on, what do
Yes.
you do? Some people are going to crumble. Some
That's
people
true.
are going to respond that way because that's just the way that they can protect themselves. We have to also know that the way that they respond is their best way to protect themselves.
Yep, but also I can be really pissed and annoyed at their bullshit.
Yeah.
Also that.
Totally.
You know?
Totally. There's nothing wrong with that. I just mean, any response to trauma that we have is a response that we needed to have in the moment.
Okay, but what if that response to trauma is abusing your children?
No, I know.
You know?
It's not. It's
and
not,
that's a lot of it.
It's the
that's
darkness.
a lot of it.
The darkness
you know?
is real. The darkness is real.
Speaking of child abuse, we wanted to talk about Sesame Street. We wanted to talk about Sesame Street.
Well,
now, this is no surprise. So
Elmo's
going to give you the jab.
I mean, our kids are so funny because they play, like, we have to talk sensitivity around them because they often play, like, funny vaccine games where it's like, I'm going to get you with the vaccine. And
they're, like, hunting us down through the house being like, I'm going to vaccinate you.
And we test them and we're like, would you get a vaccine if someone gave you, like, a Nintendo Switch? And he's like, no. We're like, okay. Would you get a vaccine if someone did something really cool? Like,
yeah,
it's funny. But yeah, sensitivity around it because we know, like, a lot of friends and family who are getting vaccinated and we don't want to, like, really make them feel bad. Truly.
No, why?
That's not what we want to do. But
I know,
and
this is
our way is making comedy, making light of it, and making fun of it.
Yeah.
And so that's totally cool. I have no problem. But it's just this taking that sensitivity into the world because we don't see a lot of people.
I know, but it's hard because some people are struggling. You know, some people run wellness businesses and they don't want to have vaccinated people come into their business. And so they're having to turn away clients.
Yes.
And I know this is breaking some people's hearts, but they're truly afraid. And so they're burning, you know, clientele or ending relationships.
I know.
Over the concern that the vaccine is,
it's horrible.
And I'm not saying one way or another whether it is. I'm not making any statements about that. I'm just saying that there are small business owners struggling with that dilemma.
Individuals who are.
I know. I'm just making myself clear because YouTube may censor this, so I have to be very overt in what we're saying here.
Yes.
We're not theorizing about any conspiracies.
There are people like who are now actually questioning what should you do? What should I do if I know that my client has had a vaccine? What should I do?
I know.
And it is a very tough choice. Like, I don't know what to say to that besides, like, I guess trust your intuition as much as you can.
You know what, though? Pick a boundary. Pick a boundary. Is it forever or is it time-based, right? Get clear with yourself. Don't be vague.
Sure.
Don't be vague,
but
right?
They're not, you know, with where do you come up with the time?
That's what I'm saying. You have to decide what is your real belief here.
Right.
Is it ultimately vague that you can never see that person ever again? Like, you need to sit down and deal with it.
Yeah.
I guess, right? Like, journal about it and figure out, is this person out of my life forever? Am I going to leave it for a while? Do I keep researching? What do I do? Right? Like,
I know.
I only suggest that because of the trap of the vagueness, of how the vagaries of all of this can get us sort of stuck in loops.
Yeah.
And so be firm in figuring out what's right for you, you know, like figure out why you stand for what you stand for.
Yeah.
Don't be loose and vague, because being vague is literally one of the ways all this abuse has happened. It's one of the ways so many children have become abused because the rules were so vague that people got anxious and just went hard at them. They're like, look at how good I'm following them. I'm great. That's what vague rules do to populations in North America, at least. You know, when rules are super vague, everyone panics and follows them too much.
Sure, but also in the beginning, there were some people we were never going to get back for a longer time. It's just how it is. So in the beginning, nobody knew what the hell was going on. many people questioned it from the beginning, but a
Yeah.
lot of people decided, and then have since that time started to fall off in chunks and be like, wait a minute, this
Yeah.
is wrong.
Yeah.
But we knew, like, or we should know at least, that there are some people who right off that first go were going to get stuck for a long period of time.
Yeah.
And so, you know, that even shows up in relationships where one person in the relationship is changing and evolving and going, hey, what's going on? This doesn't look good. And then the other person is still fully in the beginning of it and stayed there.
Yeah.
And it's just, you know, a very difficult, unique, individual process of awakening in some ways.
Yeah.
Because, you know,
think
even
about
in
it. Some people
relationships-
may, I know this is hard for some people, but some people may get the shot and still go through their own personal beautiful awakening. Like the idea that people can't if they've made that choice. Like recognize that bias.
Yeah.
Find that bias in yourself, in the community. Like that is a bias that exists. That people who made this choice, they're not moving forward. Oh, well, they're just like,
no.
You don't know someone's life path. You don't know anyone's life path.
Yeah.
And while I respect the idea that, okay, I'm protecting my body, you know, someone feels that there's like shedding or something going on. If someone feels that way, you know, that's their prerogative to live by. You know, I recognize it's a controversial idea, but, you know, you can draw that line. But at the same time, like, it's really important that you learn to respect someone's life path and understand that you don't really know what the implication is for that soul. You don't know. You know, you can't know what they're going to do with what happens, whether they have an experience that's one of unwellness or one of wellness, and they just live their lives and nothing happens, because that's true too. So far, there's still a lot of people who just kind of went on with their lives. So
yeah,
you know,
there's been no real backlash. It's more that, like, to the people who are boasting about it as a virtue signaling option,
a lot of bad videos, a lot of bad, like,
a little bit tricky
vaccine virtue signaling videos, and the whole like extra virtue signaling, the idea that the most virtuous you can be is get double shots and keep masking no matter what. Like Whoopi Goldberg saying that unless everyone on Earth is vaccinated, she's gonna wear her mask until she's 90. This is so disappointing.
I know, and it's like, oh, a couple years ago, I never would have fucking worn a mask. Like, I never would. Why would I wear a mask? Why? And this is insane.
I loved her in Star Trek Next Generation. I'm bummed. Although I think she was sort of openly corrupt for a while. But that's an insane thing to say. That's a very insane thing to say.
Until the whole
world, that I can't live my life freely unless the whole world does this thing. The level of narcissism that's actually occurring in a statement like that is kind of startling.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's bonkers.
It's absolutely
unless the whole world performs this medical procedure that I personally deem so important that no one should have any choice at all, then I won't go on with my life. Whoopi Goldberg, you're insane. You are an insane
it's just communism.
Human being. It's communism.
It's just communism.
That's our communism. There it is.
Everyone get a vaccine. Everyone line up for your bread. Everyone stay home for a week on a vacation.
Hello, Monkey Magic. Hello. Glad to have you here. Glad you caught us as well. We're here and it's real time.
Yeah.
It's happening. We set up StreamYard to share some links and then realized that I didn't properly set it up. So I'm sorry we can't actually share our research from today, but next time we're gonna do it, guys. Maybe we'll even have a little lower third or something. Oh man,
so cool.
It's gonna be very cool. Oh yeah, Whoopi's freaking out. Whoopi is not in a good place.
It's a very bad, but she's on The View, right?
I guess that's where it was, right? It was something like that. But
what's the other woman, Joy Behar, also saying just crazy shit about how Antifa is not like a real entity?
Yeah. She echoed the Antifa is just an idea. She did recently.
It's just an idea. You're like, still? This is crazy. You're all whack.
Yeah, if it keeps Whoopi Goldberg in her house, I recommend no one get a jab.
Yeah.
I agree, Dale. Absolutely. Everyone
Great
resist the
idea.
vaccine, so Whoopi Goldberg just goes away now. Great.
Good.
Great. Excellent.
Phew.
That would be a lovely result. A lovely result.
I know. Like, what wisdom is she giving the world?
She's got
What
nothing.
wisdom is she giving the
Star
world?
Trek Next Generation was her one and only significant offering. And it was like
That
not
was it?
mind-boggling, but that's it. That's all I will
That's
credit
your
her for.
view?
My view is that nothing else in her life or career matters in the world now that she's exposed herself
She must have some.
for the insane shill. No, I'm going to be extra harsh and judgmental. I'm going
Okay.
to go all the way with it. That's
Okay.
it. She has that one show.
She's it.
Good for her. It's one of the best shows ever. Ever. Hands down. TNG. All the way.
Yeah,
Jean-Luc Picard is a philosopher king.
I know.
He's a philosopher king. He's the archetype. It's magical. Magical series. I know you're not as
Right.
into it as me.
No.
And okay, so before we forget, you have some classes coming up.
Yeah.
Do
I'm
tell.
doing,
Do tell. What do you got going on there, Amanda?
On Tuesday, we're doing a pet support class. So just some essential oils, how to support your pet, very simple things. And then at the end of the month, on the full moon, we're starting a spa experience for Canadian people.
Look at my eyebrows.
So if there are Canadians here, check
Big
out my
deal.
Instagram. Yeah.
Yes, I put the link
It's a
for
really
Amanda's Instagram in the show
cool
notes.
spa package, and then we have sort of 5 days of recipes and
So what? So
have, like,
okay.
a
So
nice
people sign
playlist.
up and they
Yeah.
receive a package of
Yeah.
what?
Some essential oils, a
Mhm.
nice beautifying herbal tea
Mm.
with Chinese herbs. It's really
Chinese
good.
herbs.
Yeah, it's a local herbal tea.
Yes. A
business.
mother-daughter Chinese herbal business.
Yeah, and it's
Beautiful.
really good, really high vibe, beautifying tea. So it has red dates in it and lots of other things, goji berries.
Okay, so people get this package.
Yeah.
And then they connect with you and you guys create the spa experience together, yeah?
Yeah, we make a little community. We have a Telegram channel. And so we'll have, recipes day to day. And then we'll have one live class as well in the 5 days
Exciting.
for you to join. And yeah, we'll probably make a playlist and just create some nice.
Yeah, shared playlist is a great idea. To
amazing
bring everyone
vibes.
together, all be listening to the same music together. Very
Yeah.
nice idea.
Yeah.
You should get everyone to synchronize and press play at the exact same time. Oh, that'd be the best.
That's tricky.
That'd be good though.
That'd
And
be
then you
cool.
have the pet one.
And the pet one.
What's the pet?
Yeah,
what's
on
the pet
Tuesday.
support? What's that about?
Well, yeah, just talking about some ways, probably some seasonal things too.
Seasonal ways to care for your pets?
Yeah, like there are some things, I guess, for dogs and cats that go outside. And then for me, it's more like about mood and like how to support your pets.
Your
with
pet's
their
like mental health.
mood. Yeah.
Right. Pet mental health is a real thing that
So,
I think is very undervalued and underobserved.
yeah, true. It's intertwined with our own mental health.
Yeah.
And so,
That's right.
I notice when I'm not able to care for the cats in the way that I like, then, so essential oils have really helped me bridge that where I'm like, okay, the time that I spend with them can be enhanced and be more impactful. I don't have as much time to lay around and cuddle them
like we used to.
Like
yeah.
I used to.
Used to be a cuddle fest. all the
So we
time.
have to make it more impactful and on a vibrational level and just so many ways.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that'll be good. Yeah. So go connect with Amanda
Yeah.
on Instagram to sign
Yeah.
up for either of those courses.
Yeah.
And for all the goodness, all the good resonance that Amanda puts out on that account. It's very good stuff. Is there anything else that we wanted to bring up today before we go? Hey, what's in the diffuser today? Some people can see the
Well, I don't know. I've been really feeling cinnamon because it's incredible. Like
cinnamon
my
essential
God.
oil. It's true. I had no idea.
It's so good.
Okay,
It's
so this has cinnamon.
Cinnamon.
What else?
Clary sage, spearmint. Yeah. And geranium.
cinnamon, clary sage, spearmint, and geranium.
Yeah.
It's really, really nice.
Oh,
I
and
gotta
blue
say.
tansy as well, actually.
Ah, yes.
So
Blue tansy is
it's
amazing.
Rarely, yeah. But the cinnamon has been so great. It's just so
true.
warming, and it's just sensual, and it's passionate, and it
Mhm,
really,
mhm.
you know, if you need to like really reinvigorate your passion in life, and you know, in your creative experiences, in your work, in your relationships, whatever.
Yes.
But it's just that it's so good.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
It's excellent.
Yeah. It's a really incredible blend.
And blue tansy
So-
I've just been loving because I mean not only is it just really powerful, but I like, you know, little blue face paint. You know,
Yeah,
there's something
it's
ritualistic about
so good.
actually putting a, you know, obviously that connects to like many Indian cultures and Buddhism, like putting a blue dot on your third eye, but it actually being like a very flowery, incredible essential oil that starts to physically impact you there. It's really quite a nice practice. Quite a nice practice.
Yeah.
Really enjoy it.
Color therapy.
Ooh, they have blue tansy in their garden. Monkey magic.
Oh, nice.
That's really
amazing.
That's incredible.
Wow.
The oil,
It's
I have
a
to
lovely
wonder
flower.
how many flowers is in a bottle of blue tansy. Do you know?
I have no idea.
It's probably a ton. Oh, they use so many flowers to make these essential oils. It's incredible.
It's very potent. Yeah, I only put 1 drop in. It's potent oil.
Yes.
It's very good.
Well, we have links also in the description for, you know, our other offerings for our store for wellness consultation for essential oils. So check those out as well. And
and geranium.
Oh, geranium. You wanted to talk about geranium. Yes.
Yeah, it's just been really good lately. I've been telling you to use it a lot.
I know. Amanda's been like, she's like a drug dealer being like, I got geranium. You want some of this? Constantly.
Yeah, geranium essential oil right now is also really good, especially if you're dealing with anger. It's cooling, so you can put it on your liver. And it just balances. It balances the masculine and feminine. And
very helpful.
It's emotionally harmonizing. Like I've been using it in dream work to like
so you've been putting it where before bed?
On my liver.
On your liver before bed.
Yeah.
So you're impacting your dreams by putting geranium oil in your liver.
That's what happened when I tried that. So I've been doing a protocol where I put vetiver on my feet, clary sage on my third eye, rosemary on my crown, and then geranium on my liver. And when I go to sleep, and then I've been doing it for days and days, and then I noticed things happening in my dreams, and I noticed that there was like some emotional sort of restoration happening.
So the dreams became more healing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. But the geranium on the liver, I think, helps a lot in that too, because stored anger, you know, who doesn't have stored anger?
No one. No one. Literally no one.
So it's like that helps, but it's also really good for the heart chakra, and it's just I use it on my throat as well. Yeah, geranium is really, really nice.
Yeah, and if you want to get some, contact Amanda and she'll send you a link to get some geranium.
Yeah. It's a beautiful
It's good
flower.
stuff. Super good stuff. Fascinating.
Yeah.
And you know, I need to try that protocol now. I've been telling you, hook me up with your nighttime protocol. She's been keeping it to herself. She's been sneakily doing it before I even get in the bedroom. She's already got all her essential oils all over. She's just like laying down.
Wow.
You will introduce me to your protocol. You will.
I just wanted to try it, and then I just noticed some effects, so it was really cool.
Dale is asking about hemp oil, about the application of hemp oil.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I don't know.
I've never tried that. I've never tried it for application on chakras.
I know.
I have to say.
I think you could. I've used it only on my third eye before.
Okay.
But I think I would feel like it would enhance any chakra that you put it on. So if you put hemp oil plus another oil, like I would feel
blend it with another essential oil and make it into a carrier.
Yeah. It would probably amplify.
Probably do a lot. It would amplify, other oils. I would say that's a pretty safe bet.
Somehow.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Oh, you get,
so.
Monkey Magic wants to make their own essential oils one day.
Amazing.
Well, you got that blue tansy
Cool.
out in New Zealand. Ooh,
Yeah.
well, yeah. Grow a bunch of blue
That would
tansy,
be
make blue
good.
tansy oil.
Amazing.
Just do it. Just do it.
Blue
It's just blue
tansy
tansy
is
oil.
definitely one of my favorites. It's so good.
It's incredible.
And it's so good for your like it's an antihistamine. So if you have allergies and stuff, you can put it on the soles of your feet. You know, and then I even put it here when I have sinus inflammation. It's so good. It's incredible.
I need to use it more. It's very good.
Yeah, to have a garden with blue tansy. So nice.
You're a mad gardener.
That's amazing.
Yes, that's good. My mother was a mad gardener.
Yes.
It's a good kind of human being. We need so many mad gardeners in the world. Thank you. Thank you for being a mad gardener. I am very, very glad to hear that. The plant kingdom, the fairy kingdom, they need you.
Yeah,
You're doing excellent work. Anything else you'd like to add, Amanda, before we wrap this up and go adult into the night?
So.
Okay, great. Well, thank you to all
you guys.
Beautiful human beings that joined us tonight. Thank you, Dale and Monkey Magic.
Amazing.
And Kevin.
Yeah.
We love you guys.
Yeah.
We're glad to have you here. And we'll be back soon with a better setup where we'll actually share videos and links of things we've picked up through the week.
Yeah, for sure.
And it will be great. But
awesome.
Thanks everyone for joining, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.